We have a model that we're unveiling today and putting into practice over the next year. We have some pilots going already, and we'll continue to add to those pilots and continue to seed them and continue to grow and grow and grow until when we're sitting here next, every single person is involved in this. It begins with our North Star, the same way I began this presentation. Why are we here? Right? To build thriving communities by building better local government. How do we do it? We have the frameworks that we just described. We look at ecosystem, we look at culture, we look at strategy. But no, how do we do it? Well, it begins with a transformation capabilities assessment. We sit down with you and run you through a quantitative assessment looking at you across dozens of criteria. Where are you with your strategy? Where are you with your culture? Where are you with your partnerships and your ecosystem? And we're going to give you a score. We're going to give you specific feedback. This is where you rank. This is where you sit. You are killing it in this area. Fantastic. Thank you. Let's come back to that area, put a little dot in that. You have some challenges in these 3 areas. Why do you think that is? Is there some cultural element that we should be aware of? Is there something going on politically? Were you just not even aware of this and it was a blind spot? So what happens is our coaches will sit down and do a coaching session with the member and say, were you aware of these deficiencies, these opportunities? What do you want to do about it? Which one do you want to focus on? If we're having this conversation a year later, what improvement would you like to see? With that knowledge in place, the coach then works with the member organization to define a plan for development on how they're going to get better, leveraging Alliance resources. And those Alliance resources fall into kind of 3 big buckets. One is our community, physical and virtual. Right? We are sitting in physical community right now. TLG is a huge resource that we have from each other. This peer-to-peer knowledge-sharing network is integral to the Alliance. But we're also building a much more vibrant virtual community. We have our new partnership with the Atlas, and where we're developing the capacity to share our stories, and not just share them in a one-dimensional way, but to share them in a way that builds community and builds true knowledge exchange, where you'll be able to connect with the people who told the story, ask questions, get them to come visit you, and so on. So you're working with this virtual community, this physical community, and making connections. You're also participating in our Transformation Academy. So we've talked about the Innovation Academy quite a bit. When I came on board as the CEO, I interviewed dozens and dozens of people connected with the Alliance. Board members, member members, corporate partners, and suppliers, and said, what is special about the Alliance? And time again, it was the Innovation Academy. This thing is transformational. It makes tremendous impact in the member organizations. So from my perspective, as an executive, I just want more of that. But the problem is that the Innovation Academy is hard. Right? It's a 9-month commitment. You have to join a cohort. You have to start on this date. You have to finish on this date. There's a lot to it. And so we wanted to find ways to make it easier to access. So we keep the academy, but then we also take out its constituent parts. You don't have to have the whole 7-course meal. You can have just the appetizer, just the dessert, just the fish, just the salad, and build your own kind of adventure through it as it matches out to strategy, culture, and ecosystem. But as we did that, we realized that there was a tremendous opportunity to be had. Because if we think of kind of strategy, culture, and ecosystem, and then 101, 201, 301, and getting more and more advanced on those things, we realized there was more space than we had answers for ourselves. And we thought, well, why are we in the guru business at all? Right? This is where all the knowledge is, here in the room. So what if we transformed our academy from less top-down, thou shalt do this, to more bottom-up, this is what we do. So now we take those organizations that scored 9s and 10s and plug them into the academy. So a certain organization may be teaching a class on X, and then 3 weeks later taking a class on Y from another member organization. And in this case, our definition of member organization expands as well. ASU becomes a member organization. Some of our corporate partners become member organizations, as well as all of us here in the room. We're all in this together, generating this wealth of knowledge and sharing it with each other. Our job as the Alliance is to create the platform that allows that to happen in a seamless way, and the coaches walking you through it, acting as kind of college counselors in this massive catalog of opportunities. How do you make sense of that? Well, the coach is going to help you make sense of that. And then lastly, innovation leagues. So a league is a combination of multiple teams. Part of your innovation journey will almost undoubtedly be spinning up some sort of innovation team. And at some point, you're going to want to expand the impact of that team. In order to expand the impact, if we think back to the model, we're going to want to go back to the top of the pyramid and look at who we can partner with. How can we get more out of what we're already doing just by finding other people who are kind of doing some other similar work in parallel? And hence the innovation leagues are born. And I'll talk more about that in just a second. But I wanted to get into these coaches because it's such a pivotal role. You noticed it was right in the middle of the screen there, and it's really important that you understand that this is something very important to us as an organization. So our Transformation Council is made up of the best in the industry. Katie Simon Holland, Jim Keene, Peggy Maris, Bob O'Neill, Jack Tuttle. These are our opening coaches. I'm talking with more every week, and soon we'll have even more. But I think this 5 is a pretty good group to start with. And we are thrilled that they will be both working with our members and working with the Alliance itself as we develop the capacity, the capability to deliver on this promise that I've just made to you.